Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we are unpacking what is honestly a massive blind spot in cloud finance, and that is the tagging gap. If you manage any sort of cloud infrastructure, you've definitely invested heavy energy into owner, environment, and cost allocation tags. We all do it, but, reality is messy. There are always these frustrating gaps. We're talking about resources that somehow slip through untagged, or maybe an owner who left the company months ago, leaving behind all this orphaned infrastructure. These gaps just inevitably stick around, and they create a real massive blind spot for your team.
And that blind spot leads us straight to a pretty painful truth. Every single gap is a dollar nobody can answer for. Seriously, think about the core financial impact of untagged resources for a second. It is not just some administrative annoyance for the IT team, it's literal money leaking out of your budget and absolutely nobody is accountable for it. You just can't optimize what you can't attribute. But there is an immediate solution, and that is exactly what we're exploring today, Cloudshot Live Business Context. It's actually designed to proactively hunt down those gaps and help you close them for good.
Have you ever wondered why one single standard cloud invoice inevitably generates three totally conflicting questions across your internal teams? Well, it all comes down to what each specific team is actually responsible for. They are all staring at the exact same set of numbers, right? But they are trying to extract completely different narratives from it.
Think about the priorities here. Finance absolutely needs accountability, so they're looking for spend by owner. Engineering, on the other hand, they want to see the spend by workload to figure out system efficiency. And then you have your app teams, who are focused purely on the spend by service. Now here is the kicker. Even if you have a rock-solid tagging strategy in place, those gaps and inconsistencies we just talked about mean that trying to answer all three of these perspectives manually, it inevitably ends up in a massive, fragile spreadsheet. Every single month, your highly paid teams are forced to do these manual data gymnastics just to get a straight answer.
Let's look at the absolute hardest challenge, a shared Kubernetes cluster. Imagine you have a single cluster being shared across 5 different internal teams, or maybe even 5 different customers. How on earth do you take that one consolidated bill and accurately split it based on who actually used what? Well, even with perfect tagging in place, the old way of answering that shared cluster question almost always ends in a massive, sprawling spreadsheet that someone has to manually update every single month. It's just hours of tedious, error-prone work.
So how do we fix this? Well, the crucial point is how Cloudshot handles governance. You see, the tool doesn't just passively read the tags you already have sitting there. It actively governs them. You can enforce your tag policies, audit your tag coverage, and honestly, this is the real game changer, you can see your compliance metrics directly alongside the actual spend. You are governing your tags right where you view the money. It keeps the whole system honest, and it does it in real time.
Let's actually walk through this exact sequential process step by step. And don't worry, there is absolutely zero complex query language needed here. Step 1, you simply pick your account, your cost type, and your time period. Easy. Step 2, you set your level 1. Let's make that tag-based, grouping it by app owner. Step 3, you set level 2 to service. And from there, step 4 lets you go as deep as you need. Application, environment, region, resource, whatever you want. What's happening behind the scenes is that Cloudshot instantly stitches all of this together into a single, cohesive chain of ownership, no complex setup, just a few quick clicks, and boom, you have total visibility.
Because you built that hierarchy, your cost instantly breaks down by owner. But inevitably, there's always that one glaring, unassigned chunk. That is your untagged spend, a massive slice of the pie that literally nobody owns. In most organizations, this is actually the very first thing teams miss because it's completely buried in raw data. But Cloudshot surfaces it right to the top, front and center, so you can immediately see exactly how big your blind spot really is.
And here's another incredibly common issue it exposes. When you drill down into an owner's environments, you see where tagging drift actually occurs. Picture this scenario. You've got environment prod, spelled P-R-O-D over here, and environment production spelled out completely over there. It is the exact same environment, spelled 2 different ways, entirely fracturing your data. Cloudshot shows you exactly where this drift is happening and lets you set a strict policy so it never drifts there again. You aren't just finding errors. Actually, scratch that. It's more like structural prevention.
And speaking of drilling down, it is literally this fast to get answers. Imagine your workflow. Point 1, you start at the owner level. Just one more click takes you to point 2, the specific environment, another click, and at point 3, literally seconds later, you are looking right at the workload level. You are seeing the exact services driving that specific environment's costs. Owner to environment to service. It's a completely frictionless path to total clarity.
Cloudshot lets you format these granular insights in 5 different ways: Treemap, distribution, trend,
comparison, and Heatmap. Everyone gets to see the data exactly the way their brain likes to process it. But I'll tell you, the real magic is the save function. That custom hierarchy and view setup you just spent 2 minutes building, just save it as a template. Next month, you don't rebuild a thing. You just open it up, and the whole view comes right back with fresh, updated numbers. You set the whole shebang up once and reuse it anytime.
So the crucial point is the macro-level impact of Cloudshot is huge for a business. In one single tool, you can see who owns every dollar, enforce the tag policies that actually keep your data honest, and magically split a shared Kubernetes cluster across teams automatically just by reading its namespace labels. Teams can catch untagged spend before it goes crazy, run real accurate chargebacks, and ultimately give the FinOps team the ability to make critical financial decisions in seconds, not via some fragile spreadsheet that took 3 hours to compile.
The goal is to solve them structurally. By addressing these core issues, teams can finally retire the spreadsheets, the custom scripts, and all those brittle automations, and explore their own spend by visiting cloudshot.io.
I want to leave you with this final thought to consider. Are you ready to finally retire the spreadsheets and see exactly who owns every dollar of your cloud spend live? If you're tired of chasing down mystery expenses and wrestling with pivot tables every month, it might be time to rethink how you handle your cloud business context. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a much clearer picture of how to truly bridge the gap between your cloud spend and ownership.